Ride Lake Tran free with your student ID. For more information, visit www.laketran.com or call 1-888-LAKETRAN.
Lake Effect Radio!
Check us out at twitter.com/Lake Effect Radio for upcoming events, interviews, and much, much more.
Want to know the ins and outs of the business world from the area's most successful leaders? Lakeland's Business Management Lecture Series brings top professionals in from all areas of business and industry just for you. This is your opportunity to learn from the experts and ask questions. Admission is free, but the information is priceless. Join the conversation on October 19th as Christine Blake, President and CEO of Cardinal Community Credit Union, speaks about the highly successful business of banking services in this region. Lectures start at 7:15 p.m. and are held in the Dr. Wayne L. Roadhorse Performing Arts Center in Building D on the campus.
Hey Lakeland, start off your semester right with a charged mobile device. Now at Lakeland, we have 4 mobile device charging stations that can be used for free throughout the campus. They are located in Breakers, E-Lounge, C-Lounge, and Y Building Game Room. Each device comes with 8 cords for mobile devices. Get charged up today. These were provided by Lakeland Student Government.
This is Lake Effect Radio. Good morning. This is the news at 10 here on Lake Effect Radio. A powerful earthquake has struck a remote area of northeastern Afghanistan, shaking the capital Kabul and killing at least 52 people, officials have said. The toll stood at least 28 in northern tribal areas, 20 in the northwest, 3 in Gilgit-Baltistan, and 1 in Pakistani Kashmir, various officials told AFP. A further 12 people were known to have died in Afghanistan. Shockwaves were felt in northern India and in Pakistan's capital, where hundreds of people ran out of buildings and as the ground rolled beneath them. The quake was 213 kilometers deep and centered 254 kilometers northeast of Kabul in a remote area of Afghanistan, the Hindu Kush mountain range. The U.S. Geological Survey initially measured quake's intensity as 7.7, then revised it down to 7.5. 12 girls were killed in a stampede while trying to escape from their school in the northern Afghan city of Talokan, while 5 people were killed in the eastern province of Nangarhar, officials said. Girls were killed when a stampede broke out in their school in Talokan City, capital of the eponymous remote province. An education official there told AFP, quote, "The students rushed to escape the school building, triggering a stampede." Further, quote, 12 students, all minors, were killed, and 35 others were injured. In northwestern Pakistan, at least 12 people were killed, including one in the city of Peshawar, according to government officials. An official said injured people were pouring into Peshawar's Lady Reading Hospital. Lady Reading Hospital, perhaps. Quote, "We received 50 injured and more being shifted. The injured suffered multiple injuries due to building collapse," said hospital spokesman Saeed Jamil Shah. In the Afghan capital, Kabul, buildings shook violently, but there were no immediate reports of damage or injuries. International aid agencies working in northern areas of Afghanistan reported that cell phone coverage in the affected areas remained down in the hour after the initial quake. India's northernmost region of Kashmir experienced intense and prolonged tremors that caused panic in areas that suffered severe flooding last year. Power supplies and most mobile networks were knocked out, and there was structural damage to roads and buildings. However, no casualties were reported in Indian Kashmir. The earthquake struck almost exactly 6 months after Nepal suffered its worst quake on record on April 24th. Including the toll from the major aftershock in May, 9,000 people died, and the quakes damaged or destroyed 900,000 homes. Five suspected Islamic State militants and 2 Turkish police officers were killed this morning in Shida at Diyarbakir, the main city in the Kurdish majority southeast, security sources said. Tensions are running high in Turkey just 6 days ahead of elections, following country's worst ever bomb attack this month and a resurgence of the Kurdish conflict. The gun battle is the first with jihadists on Turkish soil and follows the launch of Turkish airstrikes on IS targets in neighboring Syria in July. Police had launched dawn raids on several houses in the district of Diyarbakir, where jihadists were thought to be hiding out when militants opened fire, one source said. Police officers were killed after booby traps planted around one of the houses exploded, according to the Anatolia news agency. Another 4 officers were injured. Heavy shooting was still going on mid-morning, reports said, with police fearing other jihadists could be holed up in the area. The authorities have declared that the Islamic State group is the #1 suspect over the October 10th suicide bombings on a pro-Kurdish rally in Ankara that killed 102 people in the deadliest attack in the history of modern Turkey. A mass police hunt was underway over the weekend for a suspected IS cell that included a German woman allegedly plotting to carry out other attacks, Turkish media reported. Turkish officials said Saturday the security forces feared the 4 were preparing a major attack, quote, such as hijacking a plane or a vessel or detonating suicide bombs in a crowded location. Police have been rounding up many suspected jihadists in the past 2 weeks, with 4 accused of taking part in the Ankara attacks. A Canadian whale-watching tour boat with 27 passengers on board sank off the coast of British Columbia, killing 5 people with 1 missing, rescue officials said. 21 people have been rescued when the search was called off late at night, a spokesman for the Joint Rescue Coordination Center, or JRCC, said. A military rescue helicopter, and plane had been sent to the waters off the coast of Tofino after the vessel sent a distress signal about 5 p.m. local time, according to the JRCC. Several other Coast Guard vessels were involved in the search off the rugged west coast of Vancouver Island. Cases had now been turned over to Canadian police as a missing persons case. 18 people were taken to Tofino General Hospital, which 3 were transferred to other island health facilities, a spokeswoman said. All were in a stable condition. Some at the Tofino Hospital had already been discharged, she said. Earlier in the evening, military planes and Coast Guard vessels lit up the area where the boat remained partially submerged, 8 nautical miles northwest of Tofino. A local man said fishermen and fishing charter companies joined the rescue effort, with about 15 to 20 boats leaving the tourist town. Quote, practically anyone who can go will go, the local said. People here get together to help when things like this happen. Tofino, a community of roughly 2,000 people on the west coast of Vancouver Island, is a popular tourist destination for surfers, hikers, and whale watchers from around the world. Quote, all our attention now is on our passengers and crew, so we'll be providing information as soon as the time is appropriate, said a staff member with Jamie's Whaling Station and Adventure Centers, which operated the vessel, the Leviathan II. In 1998, a boat operated by the same company sank near Tofino, killing the ship's captain and a German tourist. The remains of a U.S. soldier missing since the Korean War have been returned to his family in California, according to local U.S. media. Corporal Robert V. Witt was believed captured when his unit was attacked by Chinese forces in late November 1950, the Long Beach Press-Telegram reports. Fellow troops were later repatriated to the U.S., said he died from malnutrition in January of '51. The United States lists more than 8,000 soldiers as missing in the Korean War. Mr. Witt's remains were found, along with those of other soldiers, in a joint U.S.-North Korean excavation in North Korea in 2000. But it took many years since for them to be conclusively identified. They had now been returned to his sister, 82-year-old Laverne Minnick. She told a local newspaper, quote, I am so happy. He's going to be home where he belongs with his family. Mr. Witt, 20 years old when he went missing, will be buried with full military honors in Rose Hill Memorial Park in Los Angeles on Friday. The Battle of Chosin Reservoir, during which he went missing, was part of a Chinese offensive early in the Korean War that succeeded in driving U.S. and other UN forces out of northeastern Korea. The Korean War lasted from June of 1950 until July of 1953, and pitted the United States and its allies against the USSR, North Korea, and Communist China. At least 2 million Korean civilians, up to 1.5 million Communist forces, and around 30,000 U.S. and 400,000 South Korean soldiers are believed to have died. A peace treaty has never been signed, and the two Koreas technically remain at war. Also in the Korean Peninsula, South Korea's Navy has fired shots at a North Korean boat that strayed into its waters, the Yonhap news agency reports. This was yesterday. 5 shots were fired at about 6:30 GMT on Saturday when the patrol boat crossed in the de facto maritime border, Yonhap, South Korea's largest news agency, said. North Korea disputes the maritime border in the Yellow Sea and has crossed it before. Pyongyang called the shooting a, quote, serious provocation. The North's official KCNA news agency said the boat was conducting a, quote, routine exercise. In February last year, South Korea said a patrol boat from the North had violated the line several times, and ships from 2 countries briefly exchanged fire near Yeonpyeong Island last October. The incident comes as countries hold the second of two reunions for family members separated by the 1950 to 53 Korean War. The reunions taking place this week are only the second round in the past 5 years. The Cuyahoga County Medical Examiner's Office has released identity of a 15-year-old Cleveland boy killed in a drive-by shooting. Tyler D. Sharon was shot at about 4:45 p.m. Sunday on Wade Park Avenue near East 92nd Street in the city's Hugh neighborhood. I think that's how it's pronounced. Sharon was the 4th person killed in the city during a violent weekend. He suffered multiple gunshot wounds and was taken to Rainbow Babies and Children's Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Police have not released details about the shooting. No suspects have been identified, and no arrests have been made. Anyone with information about this drive-by is asked to call Cleveland Police at 216-623-5464. If you have any information on that, please call Cleveland Police at 216-623-5464. And before the break, Venezuela's central bank has filed a lawsuit at a court in Delaware against the U.S.-based website Dollar Today. It accuses the website of cyber terrorism and says its managers are sowing economic chaos in Venezuela. The central bank requested both an injunction and damages, accusing the site's managers of feigning inflation in the country. Dollar Today tracks the black market value of the Venezuelan currency, the bolivar. It values the bolivar at a far lower rate than the official one. Last Friday, Dollar Today showed a dollar by 820 bolivars, while Venezuela's strongest official rate is 6.3 bolivars to the dollar and the weakest 200. Venezuela uses a 3-tier system to subsidize key imports with advantageous exchange rates. Dollar Today said it calculates its rate based on trades on Venezuela's border with Colombia. President Nicolas Maduro has in the past accused the website of being part of an international capitalist conspiracy against his socialist government. Critics of the president say currency controls and widespread government intervention in Venezuela's economy have caused shortages of goods and shrinking GDP. We will return after the break. This is Lake Effect Radio.
You're listening to Lakeland's Lake Effect Radio, the official home of Lakeland Sports. If you want to watch and listen, you can tune it to www.livestream.com/Lakeland's Lake Effect Radio.
Gibbs forces the switch, goes right down Euclid. LeBron James helped him out.
You move without the ball. We saw him going to the basket. He got an opportunity to get inside, and he throws the hammer down.
My opportunity in respiratory therapy began at Lakeland, and now I'm your respiratory therapist.
My dream career began in the Adult Accelerated Program at Lakeland. Now, I'm a financial analyst.
My career in special education started at Lakeland, and today I counsel adults with special needs in our community.
The University Center of Lakeland Community College creates new opportunities for you to earn advanced degrees.
Lakeland Community College.
Opportunity starts here.
Visit lakelandcc.edu.
For one-on-one personal research assistance, make an appointment with a Lakeland librarian. Lakeland librarians offer personal help with research for assignments, projects, and papers. Stop by the library, reference desk, or call 440-525-7425 to schedule an appointment for a 20, 30, or 40-minute session. The library is located on the 3rd floor of the C building.
We live in a disposable society. Yes. It's easier to throw things out than to fix them. We even give it a name. We call it recycling.
Be sure to watch us live on www.livestream.com/lakeeffect.
Military veteran students who study at Lakeland first meet with a Veterans Affairs certifying official who processes and certifies educational benefits for eligible students. The staff has been phenomenal, said Lakeland student Michael Dugan, who is a retired Chief Petty Officer from the U.S. Coast Guard. The Veterans Lounge is a great place to frequent prior to class. It's great to be able to show up a few hours early, do some final prep, enjoy a snack, and be able to meet fellow veterans. A generous grant from Wells Fargo Advisors, LLC, helped to set up a Veterans Lounge in 2013. The space, complete with study areas, a computer and printer, a refrigerator, and a television, serve as a meeting point for student veterans on campus to connect. Each May, graduating student veterans are recognized at the college's Veterans Recognition and Graduation Banquet.
Want to know the ins and outs of the business world from the area's most successful leaders? Lakeland's Business Management Lecture Series brings top professionals in from all areas of business and industry just for you. This is your opportunity to learn from the experts and ask questions. Admission is free, but the information is priceless. Join the conversation on October 19th as Christine Blake, President and CEO of Cardinal Community Credit Union, speaks about the highly successful business of banking services in this region. Lectures start at 7:15 p.m. and are held in the Dr. Wayne L. Roadhorse Performing Arts Center in Building D on the campus.
You're listening to Lakeland's Lake Effect Radio, the official home of Lakeland sports. If you want to watch and listen, you can tune to www.livestream.com/Lakeland's Lake Effect Radio.
For personal research assistance, make an appointment with a Lakeland librarian. Stop by the library reference desk or call 440-525-7425 for more information. The library is located on the 3rd floor of C Building.
Help Model UN and NATO Club raise some dough. Come out to Tony Sacco's in Great Lakes Mall on October 25th from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. 20% of sales go to Lakeland Community College, Model UN, and NATO Club. You must show PDF or flyer when ordering. Flyers are available around the college and in room S219.
Hey, this is Danielle from Once Magnetic. Please check us out on ReverbNation.com or Facebook, Once Magnetic.
And we return with further news here at 10 o'clock. Confused Turks are asking what's the time after automatic clocks defied a government decision to defer a seasonal hours change in the time. Speaking of which, ours will be next Sunday, November 1st at 2 a.m. as usual. So remember to change your clocks. I'll be reminding you of this tomorrow on Wednesday as well. Along with other countries, Turkey had been due to, quote, fall back an hour on Saturday at the end of the summertime daylight savings. The Turkish government, however, decided to postpone the change until after upcoming polls, which are on November 1st. However, some clocks have changed the time regardless, at the normal time, causing bewilderment. The hashtag Satak, or what's the time, is now trending in Turkey as Twitter users express confusion. According to a Twitter user, hashtag Turkey united for the first time around one question: what time is it? Along with other countries in the Eastern European time zone, such as Bulgaria, Lithuania, and Ukraine, and countries elsewhere, Turkey had been expected to add an hour to Sunday at the end of daylight savings time. According to Turkish authorities, the delay will mean it is lighter when voters go to the polls on November 1st. The time change will then finally go ahead at 4 o'clock on November 8th. But the increased prevalence of electronic timekeepers such as computers and smartphones mean that for many, the time changed regardless of the directive. Many Turkish residents took to social media to express their frustration, some linking the directive directly to the paternalistic figure of Turkey's president, Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Quote, the hour hasn't changed in Turkey like it usually does at this time of year, one British expat who did not want to be named said on Facebook. Quote, we're on special Erdogan time, as he decided not to implement daylight savings time until after the election. Unfortunately, while he can hold back time, he can't hold back automatic clocks, which seem to have gone ahead and changed the hour regardless. Hence, we're all very confused. Another quote, for the next 2 weeks, Hashtag Turkey is on EEST, Erdogan Engineered Standard Time, said a Twitter user that I cannot pronounce for the life of me. You know, Twitter usernames are confusing anyway. Smartphone manufacturers suggested Turkish users override the automatic reset in their device by turning it off in the settings, however they normally do that. There's a very good reason, however, why these things tend to be done automatically. Because governments usually give you some time frame to, you know, re-implement software and stuff like that. Such as Congress, actually. When they changed it a couple years back, they get quite a bit of time. I mean, I don't remember exactly when, but they had several months to, you know, patch software and things like that. And if you have one of those quote-unquote atomic clocks, which are just radio clocks, usually, I know WWVB out in Colorado does this, they have a specific flag for daylight savings time that they set, so they don't have to rely on dates and possibly cause confusion if and when it changes. Most long-wave time signals I'm aware do that, but of course, Turkey doesn't have their own thing. They probably use another thing like... Would DCF-77 reach there? Probably not. I don't know, but again, political schmo, and let's be brutally honest, for changing for just 1 year, that's just stupid. Why don't you just change the election times, you know? Add an hour to the election time so people can, you know, still go there in the dark without worrying about not being able to cast their vote, you freaking idiots. Sorry. We don't have such problems here, because frankly, right now, if you wanted to vote in the current general election, for this upcoming November 3rd, you can just go down to the Board of Elections right now, present your ID or your utility bill or whatever, and vote right then and there at the Board of Elections without having to worry about applying for an absentee ballot, which may not arrive in time at this point, you know, other things like that. Speaking of elections, general elections in Haiti have gone ahead without major incidents, less than 3 months after parliamentary polls that were marred by violence. Some 15,000 policemen and UN peacekeeping force members were deployed to prevent any incidents. Haitians were choosing from more than 50 candidates to succeed President Michel Martelly. They were also electing members to the Congress, which dissolved in January amid a political crisis. Results are not expected to be known until next month. Turnout was high across Haiti, despite the failure of the August 9th vote. Only a few candidates were officially elected then. New polls have been held in a number of constituencies. Quote, on August 9, I had left home to go to vote, but I saw people pushing each other around, people causing mayhem and throwing things. 26-year-old voter Francie Jude told AFP news agency in the capital, Port-au-Prince. Further quote, today it's going really well. I came to vote for my parents and we are at ease, he said earlier on Sunday. The current president, Michel Martelly, is not allowed to seek re-election, just like President Obama isn't. But his chosen candidate, Jovenel Moïse, is among the favorites. Mr. Moïse, who owns a banana exporting business, is expected to face Jude Celestin, a Swiss-educated mechanical engineer, in the runoff on December 27th. Whoever wins will face a daunting task when taking over Mr. Martelly in February. Haiti is the poorest nation in the Western Hemisphere. Since it was devastated by an earthquake in 2010, it has relied largely on international donations and foreign aid from the United States and many other countries. A former TV comedian with no experience in government has won the runoff vote in Guatemala's presidential election. You mean Donald Trump? Sorry, I can't resist. I couldn't resist that. I do apologize. Jimmy Morales got more than double the votes of ex-First Lady Sandra Torres, who is seen by many as part of the country's unpopular political elite. Mr. Morales campaigned on a promise to fight graft, following the resignation and arrest on corruption charges of President Otto Perez Molina last month. Ms. Torres admitted defeat once the margin of Mr. Morales' win was clear. Mr. Morales received 67.4% of the vote, Mrs. Torres 32.6%. Mr. Morales, 46, described his victory as a, quote, brave vote, a vote full of hope, a vote which wants to put an end to corruption. He also described himself as quote, a common man, adding, quote, I don't have superpowers nor magic, and I've never said I do. My heart swells with love for this nation, and together we're going to fight for her. Mr. Morales is a well-known comedian who for 14 years starred in popular TV comedy along with his brother, Sammy Morales. In these sketches, which are often considered by some to be lewd and coarse, He played everything from a hapless soldier to a country bumpkin. For one character, he donned blackface and wore a prosthetic behind, which triggered accusations of racism. Women's and gay rights groups have also accused him of sexism and homophobia. Like everyone else. Accusing everyone else of that kind of thing, not, yeah. As his campaign manifesto was only 6 pages long, little is known about Mr. Morales' policies apart from favoring low taxes and limited government. He has been criticized for his more far-fetched policies, which includes tagging of teachers with a GPS device to ensure they attend classes, and giving each Guatemalan child a smartphone. I pray for his sake, not iPhones. Many voters said they were drawn to Mr. Morales because he represented a fresh start and promised to fight against graft. The campaign was conducted against the backdrop of the widening corruption scandal, which led to the resignation of Vice President and the then current president. Both deny involvement in this scheme, which saw business people pay bribes to evade customs charges. Ms. Torres, who ran government social programs when her ex-husband Alvaro Colom was president between 2008 and 2012, failed to inspire the confidence of voters who saw her as too closely linked to Guatemala's old political elite. Quote, "We are tired of the same faces of people who get rich off our money," a supporter of Mr. Morales told Reuters. Mr. Morales now faces a difficult task, as his National Convergence Front, or FCN, will just have 11 out of 158 seats in the next Congress. Yeah, I mentioned that part about communion being elected. Yeah. I do apologize for my unprofessionalness of that. Because frankly, unlike last time, which was even more unprofessional, to be brutally honest, this time wasn't justified, alright? I'm sorry. It was not justified. Now the weather forecast coming up. And now the weather forecast for Kirtland, Ohio, issued by the National Weather Service. Today, mostly sunny, high 57. East, around 7 miles per hour. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 40. East, around 7 miles per hour. Tuesday, partly sunny, high 58. Southeast, around 10 miles per hour. Tuesday night, rain, mainly after 9, low 51. Southeast, 13 to 18 miles per hour. Precipitation chance, 100%. New precipitation amounts between 1/4 and 1/2 of an inch. Wednesday, rain, high 64. Breezy, south, 16 to 22 miles per hour. Gusts up to 32 miles per hour. Precipitation chance, 100%. New precipitation amounts between 3/4 and 1 whole inch. Wednesday night, a chance of showers. Mostly cloudy, low 49. Precipitation chance, 50%. New precipitation, less than 1/10 of an inch. And that will conclude News at 10 for today, the 26th of October, 2015.
Check us out at